Hello everyone, welcome to the 10-Minute Sea Discussion podcast, where I, Nora, your host, will break some exciting news from Southeast Asia, a small but fast-growing region in the Asian continent. Now, let's stream into our 7th episode, Cambodia, Thailand, a conflict remounts. Today is August 25th, 2025. It marks exactly 37 days from July 24th, when the first airstrike between Thailand and Cambodia took off right at the border, known as the Emerald Triangle, shared by both nations and their neighbor, Laos. It was reported that Cambodia was allegedly the one to provoke this clash, firing rockets and artillery shells into the Thai territory, which claimed the life of one soldier and at least 11 civilians settling in Sisaket province. According to a footage deemed from the scene circulated online, heavy smoke was seen pouring from a shop house. Later, Thai provincial officials announced that the first rocket hit right at a convenience store attached to a petrol station, and most victims were students inside the store. Several major buildings of the region were largely impacted, leaving at least 35 people with injuries and deep anxiety, wondering whether an unannounced war was taking place on their land. To defend themselves, Thailand's military embarked their campaign, scrambling F-16 jets to carry out airstrikes. The Thai army confirmed their fighting on 6 spots with ground troops and tanks fronting the Cambodian forces. Responding to the press, the Thai military deputy spokesperson Richard Suksuwanan stated that after being deployed, Thailand's Air Force managed to hit 2 Cambodian military targets on the ground. Both countries then blamed each other for initiating the fight, with the clash lasting for a stretch of 5 consecutive days, marking the border areas under the extreme pressure of bullets. On July 25th, a day after the first fire was released, Thailand's 2nd Army Area issued an official statement claiming that artillery shells from the ongoing skirmish had accidentally landed on civilian homes and local property of the Laos PDR. After investigation, Laos later confirmed that the shells were not originated from Thailand, but Cambodia instead. And traumatic became the only word being able to describe how residents of this area were amid fire exchanges of the 2 forces, including Laos, the non-relevant one. Due to its violent nature, it was not possible for the press to enter this zone, capturing what was happening on the spot. But the intensity could be sensed through different initiatives conducted by both sides. Thailand's embassy in Phnom Penh urged its Thai fellows settling in Cambodia to consider fleeing the country as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet sent a request to the UN Security asking for an emergency meeting, which was then launched on Friday, one day after the first strike. Though both sides now have complied well with the unconditional ceasefire, which took effect at midnight on July 28, financial damages, loss of trust, and emerging uncertainty among the 2 nationals are still evident. And it may take even longer for them to subside such aftermaths. Intense confrontation between Thailand and Cambodia like this, however, is not unprecedented in the region. That dispute could be traced back to the Franco-Siamese treaties of 1904 and 1907, defining the final boundary between Siam, known as Thailand, and French Indochina, the borders of which were inherited by Cambodia. Tension escalated in the 1950s, centering the ownership rights of the Previer Temple. In 1962, the case was brought to the International Court of Justice, or the ICJ, who decided to advocate Cambodia's claim. Even with legal statements, heat has never really died down between the 2. It erupted into an open row in 2008, after Cambodia nominated the temple as UNESCO World Heritage Site, and Thai protesters attacked their government over the matter. This led to a request for further interpretation from the ICJ to clarify the 1962 ruling, which was finalized in 2013. And 12 years of stability were disrupted following the recent combat. Unlike the previous conflicts, the cause of the 2025 fallout is unconfirmed. Prior to this heavy fire, a chain of undesirable events earlier this year partially presupposed the July confrontation. On May 28th, a soldier of Cambodia was pronounced dead by the nation's defense ministry after a brief gunfire combat with their Thai counterparts right at the same disputed borderline. Such a battle has activated the alert manners from both countries, putting the surrounding regions under great stress of insecurity. A month later, the whole world was shaken by Cambodia's Senate President Saddam Hussein's Facebook post on June 18, publicly sharing the recording of his phone call with the Thai former Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra 3 days before. This audio leak brought along a series of pessimistic reactions within the ruling party, initiating further criticism coming from the military, national press, and also the Thai people. Thai politics was indeed stepping into the state of crisis with a high possibility of Prime Minister Paetongtarn's lost her role. It can be deemed that the gun battle at the zone is like a last straw from two parties experiencing continual heat through the shared borderline. Indeed, no one is a winner in a war. Economic loss is substantial throughout the 5 days of tension. The Thai government announced a cost of 10 billion baht, around 307.88 million US dollars, and it required a budget of 20 billion baht, 771 million US dollars, to recover the affected zone from debris. For the time being, Cambodia has yet released any statement on the cost they face due to the clash, but it can be indicated that the Thai trust on Cambodia is fading, given the 3 ordeals it gave to its neighbor. Fluctuation in the cross-border bond can be a tremendous challenge to the economy of both sides, requiring market players to stay prepared in advance to brace themselves. Trade between the two has been playing a key role in their GDP. However, regarding the current atmosphere, disruptions of goods exchange are in sight, warning of an export loss of 40 to 50 billion baht. In addition to that, over 250,000 Cambodian workers are employed in Thailand's manufacturing industry. At the moment, while most still choose to stay where they are, the unresolved misunderstanding may activate a wave of mass resignation of these migrant workers, leaving Thailand engulfed by labor shortages. Lastly, what makes this conflict stand out does not lie within its potential cost to economic loss. In fact, the impact of this unharmonious relationship has been extended to the nearby countries, namely Laos, also witnessing certain turbulence, requiring them to stay alert as long as fire or quarrels are still heard across the border. Though tragic, this time violence unexpectedly marks a breakthrough in ASEAN bloc's action towards dispute among the Southeast Asian nations. Looking back at previous incidents between Thailand and Cambodia, the role of ASEAN was hardly mentioned, leading their cases to be heard by the ICJ. On the contrary to the precedented ones, the 2025 role is solved by ASEAN members' efforts. Officials of Thailand and Cambodia got a chance to sit at a table on Monday, July 28, hosted by the Malaysian Prime Minister's official residence near the capital Kuala Lumpur. Hours of negotiation finally came to a conclusion of an immediate and unconditional ceasefire, announced by Malaysian Prime Minister and the current chair of ASEAN, Anwar Ibrahim, also a mediator of the talks. Beyond the agreement, the implementation of the ceasefire from both sides were closely under watch. According to the press, on August 5th, Malaysia would be willing to send a monitoring team to the border of Thailand and Cambodia if requested. Additionally, members like Vietnam are also ready to send assistance to take part in the ASEAN-led mechanisms to ensure the commitment of the ceasefire agreement as proposed by Malaysia. As an extensive attempt to lift the conflict, the Extraordinary General Border Committee meeting was held in August in Malaysia, supporting the dialogues of both involved nations and immersively enhancing their reconciliation process. The 40th summit was attended by Thai Deputy Defense Minister Nattapong Nakpanit and Cambodian Defense Minister T. Seha, with observers from Malaysia, China, and the United States. Both countries agreed to let observers from ASEAN bloc to enter both territories to inspect the dispute causes, ensuring that similar hostilities would not break out once again in the future. While officials were still at the table, troops were still building up on both sides. It is apparent that further strong actions, besides having a third-party supervising team, need to be put forth, giving more weight on the ceasefire initiatives. Even though the situation along the border now remains under control, it is clear that the ceasefire agreement is not firm enough to reassure both heated fronts on the matter of their conflict. However, the summit and other tentative meetings are still valuable, for the time being, handling the mistrust that has lingered in Thailand and Cambodia relationship. And any approaches still need some time to kick in its effects, requiring the ASEAN bloc to stay vigilant ahead of any sudden shift in the climate of the region. The hot and cold relationship between Thailand and Cambodia, once thought to be stabilized for the past 12 years, now has reached another turn. Given the continual provocative act taking place in early 2025 towards the Thai security, Cambodia now is not a preferred partner for Thailand. Such incidents also set a siren to both countries and the whole Southeast Asian region that though being silent, their territorial and other faceted disputes have never been fully settled, which all have potentials to resurface, kickstarting other feuds to come in the future. Hence, coupled with the ongoing mediating talks, intensive monitoring of the ceasefire agreement by third countries, regular updates of the climate between the two are the recommended pathways to take, which helps the area step one foot prior to any unexpected shock given the turbulent nature of Thailand and Cambodia relationship. So that's the end of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it and found the news interesting. For your convenient reference to further details of the news I mentioned, please find the links to my blog page in the description, where I have compiled all the related information. If you have any questions, or you want to discuss more on what I shared today, please leave your comments below. I would love to talk to each of you more as well. You can search for more episodes of this 10-minute Sea discussion podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Podcasts, and my own blog page. Thank you for listening to today's episode all the way to the end. And I hope to see you again in my next episode of 10-minute Sea discussion, which will be released soon. Once again, this is Nora, your host. Thank you so much and goodbye.